Hello and welcome back. So this stream we are carrying on from the 2-hour mark and getting going, I guess. One thing that I just forgot was get before so I can just check the time if need to be. Let me see. Yep, it's all good. So let's crack on then. No, it's the other way. And then see if we start a new show that's allowed. Start a new topic or not.
So today I'm going to talk about styling your elements with class. So we learned about this before, right? In this example,
I also moved the mic a bit further, so it should be a bit nicer.
Add class selector in your styles, and then boom, you apply the styles to elements, right? What else to learn about?
Yeah, what else?
Well, that's right. Have you learned about conditional class? Well, that's not that hard either, right? If you come over here, if I have class, over here I have a profit, where if a profit is negative, I'm going to apply a negative class. If it's positive, I'm going to apply a positive class. So a class attribute is you can pass in a string, and within this string you can have curly brackets. So anything within curly brackets is you can pass in any JavaScript expression. So I can come over here, check whether the profit is less than 0, then apply a negative class. If it's greater than 0, I use positive class. Yeah, that's it.
That's quite cool.
Is there anything else you want to show me? Well, it is. Can you make this more concise? Well, of course, there's a way to write this. You can, okay, so if it's profit less than 0, I use negative. And I can combine these two expressions together. Is that what we are looking for? So if it's like this, then I can be like this. Right? Yeah, can you make it more concise and easy to read?
Yes,
well,
go on.
Kind of, maybe I can come over here, I can define a class. So this is a profit class. And I can apply this over here, and then I can add this as the string to my class, so that I can change whatever string it is. Is that it's well, we've seen a lot of different ways of writing, right? So there's no perfect way of writing. But today I want to share with you one tips, which is to use a class directive. Yes, class itself can be a directive as well. So if I come over here.
Okay, let me actually practice this before I crack on what he did. So, and he already took off what that was. Yeah, I could have yeah, probably best of thing a counter, because otherwise it's, yeah. So let num equals to 0, yeah, and then if, how was it? Was it like I swear it's like with a question mark, and then I'll just
share with ways of over here, kind of
pop it back.
0, I use negative.
Okay, yeah. So you have the declaration, well, kind of the if statements. So the true or false value. So num what? There we go. And then if it's smaller than 0, then you give a class of But, there we go. And then that one, he just kind of replicated like so. Positive, and then in the style, we can have dot negative b red dot positive b green. Oh, sugar. Stupid. There we go. Took me a second. So then now, oh, I've got all the buttons and everything. Anyway, I'm committed enough, so now I've got to go through with it. So let's actually remove this. We just have them. Just 0. And then I could have the buttons. Which would be on click. Why the hell? On click. Yeah, and then have it in here, and then so he's in the function like so, an embedded function. Yeah, I'll copy that because I haven't done too many of them, so good practice, I guess. And then num plus plus. Why is it being so? And then I just have plus in here. Okay, yeah, that works. Negative. How come the plus button is so much bigger? Anyway, that actually looks quite nice. Okay.
And I can combine these two expressions together. Is that what we are looking for? So if it's like this, then I can be like this.
So it's got profit. Negative. That one. So it's like an if else statement. That's something I haven't seen before, like doing it like that. So giving it 3 options, really. It's quite nice.
Right? Yeah. Can you make it more concise and easy to read? Well, yes, kind of. Maybe I can come over here.
Okay, let's go forward.
With few let me back it. It immediately sees that negative class should be applied when profit is less than 0. And there's a nice way to write this, to express this in using a class directive. So same thing as what we have over here. I'm gonna copy this first. I'm gonna use a class directive. So a directive is anything with a colon, right? So I write class and then a colon, and then I can pass in the name of the class. So the name of the class is called negative, and then to pass in a condition for this. So I can come over here and write profit.
So
And to
negative.
pass in a condition for this. So I can come over here and write profit less than 0. So this whole thing, class colon negative equals to profit less than 0, is the same way of expressing this. But I find this is more it's more expressive. It expressed more to me where it says that if this class negative class apply based on this condition, rather than you have a ternary expressions that tries to return a string from your JavaScript expressions, and we kind of have to figure out like what that string is by reading this.
Profit.
And we figure that
Positive.
it's either a positive string or an empty string, and then what is the condition? And I find that reading writing it this way is much more readable.
There we go. Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
To class positive.
So I wouldn't need this.
Condition for the class positive as well. So I can write it this way now. So I have class negative, profit less than 0, and class positive, profit less than 1. So let's try. It still works.
Oh, I know what's wrong. What's wrong? Okay, now I don't know what's wrong. What's wrong with you? The fact that it's I need to rewrite it. Nice.
Always try, don't take my word for it, always try whether
so it's just more compactable, I guess, in quite a decent way, really. It's good.
It works or not.
Eliminating, giving a class of nothing.
As everything goes where we likes to have shorthand, class directive also has its own shorthand, and
even more.
Hopefully you can guess what it is. It's like this. If this
just stick with a class.
So this condition can be any JavaScript expressions, right? What if this condition is a variable? If I write negative over here as a variable, so I declare negative as a reactively declared variable. So this.
Oh, okay, I like that. I actually like that. So then you have it with the dollar sign, colons around, negative. Wouldn't you have like equals to, yeah, and it would be num smaller than 0, something like that. And then you'd have class negative equals negative. That doesn't really make it better. I mean, sure, let's try it out. It's like actually giving me more text to work with. But it does work. And it does extract the logic, so I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, it does extract out the logic, but it would be nicer for it to be more condensed, I guess, maybe.
The value of negative always change whenever I change the profit. Then I would end up writing this, right? Class colon negative equals negative. And since this class name and the variable name, the condition variable name is the same, I can omit this. I can write this. So class
yes, that's what I thought.
equals to, let me copy the previous one and then comment it out so that you can do your comparison you want. Okay, I should paste it over here. So
I'll
this
leave it like
is
this,
equals
so
to this. It's the same thing. So let's try it out. Right, it works. So if you have a same condition,
I mean, going from all of this
and
to
there
just
you go. Class
one word.
directive. Hopefully that's a new
Okay,
way
obviously
for
with
you
like an
to
extracted
specify
way
what's
to
the
do it,
class
that's quite
of
good.
your element. Instead of just having to concat strings to form your class names. So hopefully you learn something new, and I like to see you applying
Definitely.
this in your Svelte components. We are going to talk about bindings. What is binding? Well, we shall see. Let's take a look at one example that I prepared for you. So over here we have an input and a variable.
I would say about 4 maybe. But then also this is quite a lot of logic. Bad for 0.1. And now that should, so if I do control S, that should be saved. And then it should be in here, yep. And now I've got a new one, which is called .4, and then 2, 3, and then give that a save, and now that should be a new document in there.
Variable called value. So this is a state where we can change the value of the value variable, and we show that value variable on the screen over here.
Binding.
So we add input events on the input so that we know whenever we type something like this, this will be called, and then we update the value of the value. So this will pass this value into the input itself so that it's updated, and also will show it on over here on the screen. So every time when you want to add event listeners from an input, and then update a value of a variable, and then if you want to somehow change the value and then get it reflected onto the input. So when I say get it reflected is, what if I over here I have a button, and whenever I click on the button, I want to change the value to say ASDF, right? So I can type over here. Every time I come over here, I change a variable called value and get it reflected. And I can do the other way around, which is I click me, update the value of the variable of the value of the variable value, and then get it reflected on the input. So I click, you see it's updated to ASDF instead. So there's two ways of updating this variable value. One from the input event, or two is by just changing it directly. And this is a very common pattern that you would come out to control your inputs. And so Svelte comes up with a directive that handles this, so that you don't have to come over here, define an event listeners, define a variable. I mean, you have to define a variable, but like you can save time typing all this and just do this one thing instead, which is bind. The bind directive. That's why the title of this video, bindings, bind, and then I need to bind what? I need to bind the value of the input. Right? So inputs.value is the value of the input. We over here we read this value from here in this event, and then we pass this value in inputs. It's a bit mouthful, so let's try to change this. I'm gonna call this a foo instead, so that it's so that you can differentiate where this is, right? Okay, come over here, right? So inputs, you read a property called value. Okay, you can't do this now. You read a property called value, and then over here you want into foo, and then you want to set foo into the value, the property called value. It's the same. This is the property name. This is a value. You read it to the variable called foo. And if we've changed foo, we want to update it back to the property called value. So I come over here, I can type. As you can see, this is this. I should comment this out. So only have this input that has bind. So when I type, it will get the value of the input. So this is no longer in use, right? Just so you know. Type value of the input. Value of the input comes to variable called foo. And so you see foo reflected over here. And if I click, okay, let me type more. If I click on this button, I change the value of foo, it should update. So this foo variable should update the property called value. So there you go. So binding, we bind a variable, a property called value to the variable called foo, and it works two ways. It's a two-way data binding. Changing in the property will update the variable. Changing the variable will update the property. And and if your variable, instead of calling it foo, you call it value instead. Let's come back. Value. Call it value instead. Then you can have a shorthand, right? The property and the variable name is the same. Then you can omit the whole thing. So this and the above is the same. Right, so I'm gonna change this so that you have a clear value. So this and this is the input. Bind value equals value, and bind value is exactly the same. So let's type and see it change, and you change. Okay, and you click on, you update a variable called value. You will update it back to your elements, property of the element. So there you go, binding on elements.
So input is binded to value, and if value changes, then yeah, and value is value. Okay. So let name be nothing, right? And then let's have the name be printed out. Actually, we can add another one. And you could have it like here somewhere. Then we have the input. And then yep. And then have the button. Which is like that, and then click me, and then what I can, well, that's all that is necessary. So then if I put something in here, nothing should happen. Oh, click me and nothing's happening. But if I say that's name on button click, so on click, on. Actually, let's just, no, I can do it. I'll do this first. On click, and then on click, and then that's name equals to Jeff. Right. Why have I got to? Oh, yeah, no, you didn't need that there. On click. It's gonna call Jeff. Yeah. But then, But what I can also do is I can have it bind it to bind. It's need importing name. I don't know. Bind name. Name is not defined. Div value is value. What is wrong here? I don't know. H1 hello name bind name to value. Just for clarity's sake. I know. That's how they've got it. And I've got
Can't you do binding with component?
I don't know that he's going over different things. How did you have it before?
Let's come back.
Well, that's a name equals to name. Name is not defined. But name should be defined because that's what I've called it. Bind name to name. Bind.
Changing in the property.
So if it was called foo,
value of the input.
Bind. Oh, so it's binding the value. So that's like a thing. I see. Not for your name. Okay. Makes sense. But obviously, because I'm not calling it value, because value is stupid, I'm calling it name. Yes. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, why is name wrong? But no, it's not wrong. It's right. Okay.
Comes to variable called foo. And so you see foo reflected over here. And if I click, okay, let me type more. If I click on this button, I change the value of foo, it should update. So this foo variable should update the property called value. So there you go. So binding. We
Very
bind
nice.
a variable.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna skip a bit ahead.
The input bind value change, and you change. And you click on, you update a variable called value, you update it back to your elements, property of the element. So there you go, binding on elements. Can't you do binding with components? Well, yes, you can as well. You can imagine instead of the attribute of the elements, you can change on the property of the component, the props of the component. And so I have a component called component. I'm going to import this over here. And in this component, I am going to use it over here and comment out everything that I'm not in use. So this component has a counter called count, and I have a button that just increment this count value. So
There we go. And then we can, I'll pop it down here. Not supposed to like add breaks here. Okay. The ones you got.
To listen to this count changes, we maybe can add event listeners, and then so that I can update a variable over here. So I can come over here, have a variable called count, and I can so count equals count. So this is a shorthand to the shorthand. Count equals count. I can have a button that change this value. Whoops. Goes 999. So I can have a button that updates the count value, and whenever I change, okay, I need to also have a event, right? So I come over here, dispatch count change. So I need to create imports, create event dispatcher from Svelte, and create event dispatcher so every time count change, I'll dispatch this count change event. Come over here on wait, should be on a component on count change. Whoops, I receive an event. Let me create a new line so that you can read it clearer. Right, on count change you have event, and the count will equals to event.detail. So over here, you guys two things. Whenever we change inside, click me, increment. I'm gonna name it differently. So if every time when you increment, this will be called, this event will be called, and I need to come over here and show you that this value is updated. So every time it's called, I will get the latest value of the count, and it will be reflected on the screen over here, right? And anytime, and when I click on this button, I want to update this value count to 999. So when I click this, it'll be 999, and this value will be passed in, so this count will be updated. So if I increment, and you get receive over here. So it's kind of the same as your inputs, where you events happening, you update the value, and if the value changes, you update the property of the attributes of the element. So I can do the binding for any props, in fact any props. So this props is called count, so I can come over here and bind count to count. So I can comment, okay, so this, whoops, let me comment this and just leave this for you. So bind count to count is again exactly the same as listen to the event, update the variable count, and whenever count change, update the props called count. Right, so this is the same as above. So I try over here, you see it's the same behavior. And in fact, since this variable and this property of the component is the same as the variable that we're going to assign to, we can use the binding shorthand and just write this increment and click me, increment, click me. So here you go, bindings for elements as well as components.
Okay, I don't know. Like, I mean, I could obviously replicate that. Probably should, because it seems like we're going on to binding groups. So yeah, let's see. Let's go back a bit.
And in fact,
I'll just replicate it with the bind, because it seems a bit easier. Also should still work. So oh god, what happened there? God knows. Anyway, stream alright? Stream's alright. Good stuff. Sammy. Oh. Hello. Right. Sammy. Love that. So, what are we doing now? Let's see. Plan is to use the bind on the component, which in theory needs to contain some sort of logic. So, to my knowledge, what I had is let's call it a bit something different. So, component name, say a puppet, and let's call that nothing. Yeah. And you could have another one. Yeah, I could have it like h2 tag and say again. Oh, it could be hello and then goodbye. Yeah. Goodbye. And then you'd have the component name. Component name. And then that's something the increment doesn't really work on that, does it? Actually, no, it could. I've got an idea. What if? So then have an exclamation mark, and then here, when we add the button, right? So the button add enthusiasm. Then we could have something as like search. I don't know why it goes like when I press space. Why does it go so far? It's so dodgy. I don't know. Now it's got this many spaces. I don't know. Anyway, on click. And it gives me two of them for no reason. Click on inside function. Com name equals to yeah, don't know what's going on with the spaces in here. Very dodgy. Anyway, com name equals to, what equals have to equal to com name and then plus I think I need to refresh this because it's, I think the actual, yeah, it's tripping. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's being not functional for some reason. Let me try again. Yeah, now it's giving me one space and it's giving me one plus. Yeah, I think there's something, some bug fix or something, because yeah, that was annoying me actually. Don't do me like this. That should be 2 spaces, yeah. And an exclamation mark. So in theory, this will add an exclamation mark to it. Obviously, these two are separate for the moment. So what I want to do, in theory, is add a binding to it. So then bind name, but it's not using value, it's using name now. So in theory it won't shout at me. Bind name to am I binding? Which side am I binding to? Let's just say com name. Com name is not, okay, so can find com name. Can you find name? So if I do com name here. Okay. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be working. Why? So that turns to Jeff. Looking good. So if I've got com name, hello Java, so that works. But when I press this, I want it to use the same value. It's printing out that. I'm so confused. Let's see what it's got in the component. That. Oh, I think it's the event dispatcher thing that I need. I think that might solve my problems soon. Import right dispatcher. Oh, it's all in capital letters. Bloody hell. Oh, let's use capitals over there as well. Okay, so that's imported, and then constant dispatch. Dispatcher. And then add the $sign to the dispatch and the count changed. Where did this get count changed from? And count. So I have count changed over there. So yeah, but I don't think that will solve it. Yeah,
and when I
component on count change. But then once you've got
is again exactly the same as
the bind count, then you don't need the count change.
assign to for element
In theory.
as click me.
But then in theory we don't even need this then, but let me try to do it like that. So maybe that works. I don't know. Dispatch. So then I'll just call it change. On change. And then component count changed. Component. Let's scrap this for now. On is it just called change? On change. Yeah. Equals to I've got a feeling that this won't work. Event and then so here we hit count, but since I've got name, I need to have name. I think my issue is that I've got different names for them. Maybe if I didn't, wouldn't be an issue. I'm gonna try that. Bind name and name, right? And then instead of having that, we have name, which is just gonna be like so. Yeah. Common name is not defined. Where? Oh, name. Yeah, no, it still doesn't work. So I might as well unchange it just because at least it kind of differentiated it. Yeah. Name equals to. Let's change it to Bob. Right. Oh no. No, that I'm looking at the wrong line. Event name equals to event.detail. So that would be huh. It kind of works. Kind of. Not 100%. But it kind of works.
Count can for any props. In fact, any props. So this props is called count. So I can come over here and bind.
What?
This update this value count to 999. So when I click this, it'll be 999 over here and show you that this value is updated. So every time it's called, I will get the latest value of
I want to figure this out now.
receive an event. Let me get it to a new line so that you can read it carefully. Event. Come over here on. Wait. Be careful, clear. Right, on count change you have event, and the count will equals to event.detail. So over here, you guys two things. Whenever we change inside, oh, click me.
Oh. I see. So no, it does work fully. Only thing is I've got the goodbye part over here. So, which I guess kind of makes sense. So, in a sense, why is this even doing? I'm a bit confused now. So, it's because in a sense we're using the same, outputting the same information. But then, I guess, yeah. So I guess the function from here is being used up above, and then we're binding the two values, which I guess makes sense. So now I could have it so like it was before. So before the break, and other views of them, I could have that's gonna go there. Yeah, that's fine. So I could have it in the h2 tag. Why is there? Yeah, h2. Goodbye. And then I have name here. Right. in here, I don't actually need this, but now that will add enthusiasm. So I could have name Jeff, yeah, or no, let's have Bill, and then I can add why. Yeah, okay, God knows. Anyway, these parts kind of work. Well, kind of doesn't, but what if I did it with the bind? Maybe this wouldn't be an issue. Hopefully. So if I have name and have name, no, home, I'm not sure. Because that's not working. I'm getting brain seizure right now. We are still live. What does this have to do? I don't know. Looks odd. How long have we been? How long have we been recording for? Already an hour. God. I'm not making enough progress. But also I am getting brain tired. This is not really good enough, is it? But I think I'll try to figure this out off camera and potentially get up to 2 hours and a half just so that I can say that I've made that milestone and then go on from there. Hopefully I'll actually do that, but for now I've got my brain is just not functioning, so I don't know what the issue with that is. I'll sort it out and then crack on. But yeah, this is going to be a quicker one. I've barely made a dent in the progress, but I'll do a bit more, crack on, and then do what needs to be done. But yeah, so what we have done is you kind of had I can do this. So you had this working, so we can add values and then change the values and add enthusiasm, which then kind of updates and whatnot, which is good, but otherwise it's not working fully properly, so that needs fixing, which I'll fix. Anywho, and also we did the other one, which this one, some of the numbers just quite nice, and this was about doing more smart classes and styling. Just nice. I quite like this. Anyway, better point. I'll see you in the next one then. Bye.